Hello and welcome to our daily sketching routine. It is Wednesday, October 15th, 2025, and today's topic, the thought that's coming to me is different drawing mindsets. And I'll explain. But before we begin, welcome back if you're returning and welcome if you're new to the channel. I sketch and post every day and I use a 10-minute timer to stay focused and to build a habit. I'll start a 10-minute timer. This will be a continuation of yesterday's sketch. I call these sketch pages, but they could also be in a sketchbook. So I kind of have like an idea for the composition here. I'm going to just do this, make it kind of fit the camera. And then I'm going to write mindset. So that's the word that came to me. For example, in yesterday's video, this was a blank page. And I wrote down some notes and then I was sketching some stuff. Sometimes I don't like to write on the page. That's kind of my point, that there's like a different mindset. So just to keep it kind of simple, I've talked about this before. I called it the AOS, or Art of Sedona Triad. For today, I'm just going to call it imagination. You have what I call study and then style. So this is just something that I found helpful, and ever since I started doing the channel, it has helped me to kind of organize, like I call them like different approaches. But I have several videos about it, and this will go into artist life, which is kind of like this. It's sort of about like the different ideas and principles and concepts and stuff. I had like this idea for this kind of composition. So this is like a composition. Once you do that, you can kind of just doodle, which is what I call this kind of thing. It's just doodling. That's what I mean about like mindset. So it's just like from imagination based upon just mark making. And I find that there's a lot of freshness to that. Imagination is really the best way that I can describe it. But that's really where like the excitement and like the fun really is. Let's say I wanted to draw something, but then I think to myself, oh, I'm going to look up something to draw. Like it kind of gets in the way, or it's like a different thing or something like that. Hopefully that kind of makes sense. Versus if I want to draw something, it's more this, it's more visual. You just draw something and it's more like different lines and different shapes and stuff like that. Because otherwise it'll always be some resistance to it. Friction, if you want to call it that. There's always going to be something kind of in the way. So this is actually after the previous video. However, I worked on it. I didn't like the way it looked, so I filled it in with this black brush pen. I'm going to go back in and use like a white, there's like a Sharpie paint marker, and I'm going to add some highlights to this raven. And I looked up a picture of a raven, which I call like study, because I mean I have to study or like look it up. I did want to go through the process of just sketching something from imagination. Now the question might be, well, why don't you just start with like a picture? And sometimes I do. Sometimes I'll just look at like random pictures on Pinterest and like sketch something. The idea is that it was from imagination, but like sometimes you want to add more detail or fix it. But in this case, I'm going to go in with like some highlight. Alright, I think that's going to be it for now. So yeah, I'll edit this in somehow. I want to thank you for joining me for our daily sketching routine, and if you enjoy these videos, please support the channel. I appreciate it, and until next time, keep on sketching.